We gather here today to commemorate the sacrifices made by the men and women of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps on the shores of Gallipoli 100 years ago. The First World War was a watershed moment in modern history. It rewrote the laws of modern warfare, caused the collapse of four once mighty empires, and set the stage for one of the most politically, socially, and militarily turbulent centuries in recent history. But I don't want to talk about the war as a whole. It was initiated by men with dreams of imperialistic grandeur, whose machinations set in motion one of the greatest losses of life in an armed conflict. Today is a day of remembrance for the 10 million soldiers who died in a conflict that didn't have to happen and that shouldn't have been allowed to happen. And in particular, the 80,000 ANZACs who were killed in the line of duty. This speech was originally supposed to be what ANZAC Day meant to me as a New Zealander. Now, obviously, I wasn't born here and have no direct link to the ANZACs. But even so, the sacrifice of all the soldiers has impacted greatly upon me and my generation. As an avid history student, I am constantly frustrated by world events, watching the same mistakes being made time and time again, the failures of our leaders to manage crises effectively, often resulting in needless bloodshed. As a healthy, reasonably fit 19-year-old boy, I would have been among those leaving for the fighting in 1915. The idea of having my name drawn from a lottery and leaving behind my home, my family, and my friends, being shipped out to some unknown foreign land, being given a gun and told to go and fight an unseen enemy, is one so alien to our generation that very few of us stop to consider it. I can quite sincerely say that if I was put in that position, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I would have been utterly and completely terrified at the prospect. And I would be willing to bet all my worldly possessions that most of my contemporaries would feel the same. So I want to thank these soldiers for doing this. Their bravery has made the world a safer place. There is no conscription in this country, no national service. We do not live our lives in fear of a malevolent foe. We have free press, freedom of speech, freedom of worship. We live in a democracy. We are free. And we owe that freedom to the men and women who fought and died in this conflict. They fought for their country, and they won. What does it mean to fight for your country? How does being born on one particular piece of rock make you any different from someone born on another piece of rock? Lest we forget, during the Gallipoli conflict, 11,430 ANZACs were killed, and overall, the Allies lost 53,000 troops. Yet the Ottoman Empire lost 56,000 soldiers. These weren't evil men fighting for world domination. They were fighting to keep an invading army out of their homeland, to protect their families. They fought bravely and they died bravely, just as we did. The only thing that made them different was the colour of their flag. Today isn't about celebrating the glory of a few. These heroes undoubtedly committed acts of supreme valour and should be revered and applauded, but it is also important to remember those who won no medals, whose names you don't see in the history books. Like many of you, I had relatives who fought in war. My great-grandfather and his brother-in-law, Sonny Valancy, both fought on the Western Front, with the former surviving a gunshot that passed clean through his neck. Sonny Valancy, though, gave the ultimate sacrifice, dying of wounds inflicted by a barrage of shell fire. I myself didn't even know about Sonny's existence until we spotted him in an ancient family photo album, and only gleaned his fate from a few sparse references in the diary of another soldier. I have no medals to display proudly on my chest, just a black and white photograph of Henry Havelock de Valancy sitting proudly upon his cavalry horse, full of hope and vigour. ANZAC Day isn't about celebrating a victory. The German statesman Otto von Bismarck, the man responsible for unifying the German states in the mid-19th century, once said that he regarded any war, even a victorious one, as an evil. I agree with him, and in a perfect world there would be no war, no fighting, no killing. But this is not a perfect world. This is a world where bad things happen to good people, and we need to be protected by men and women of valour and courage. Men and women like the ANZACs. Because of their sacrifice, we will never have to know the fear they felt, see the horrors they saw. Thanks to them, and countless others who fought in the Second World War, in Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, and those who are ready to fight still, thanks to them, we are safe. We are free, and we shall never forget.